I took one of my friends to the local card room. So I live here in Dallas, and we got poker card rooms all over the state of Texas. It's legal to play poker for money in Texas, despite what a lot of people think. They just have a weird loophole about like the way they're supposed to make their money. TLDR, typically casinos and poker rooms, the way they make their money is they take a commission at the end of the hand, because like in poker, you're playing against other players. You're not playing against the house. Most games in a casino, you're playing against the house. So blackjack, craps, all those games, you are playing against the house, and that's how the house makes their money. They have an inherent edge on the game. But poker, you're playing against other players. There's no casino representative at the table or something like that. Obviously, there's a dealer. So the way that these casinos make their money is they take what's called a rake. And so they take something like 5%, 10% of the total of the pot at the end of the hand up to a certain cap. So it'll be like 5% up to $10. So say you win $100 pot at the end of a hand. Before that pot gets pushed to you, your side of the table, the dealer will take, 5% up to a cap of $10 and put it into the little commission box or whatever, and then you get the rest of it. Well, in Texas, they're not allowed to do a rake-based system, commission system. So they have to kind of loophole it a little bit, and so they have to charge you hourly. So you get charged like something like $10, $11, $12 per hour just to sit at the table and play, but no money is taken off the table in the form of rake. So it effectively evens out to about the same, like, strategy-wise and the amount of commission that you end up paying per hour and to play poker and whatnot. It works out to roughly the same as a rake system, as the hourly system we have in the States or in Texas. And so I have a friend who I've done, I host home poker games every couple weeks or something just with the buddies. And he's been coming to them pretty regularly, and he's been getting better. But he's never done any like live poker with rando people before. He's never gone to a casino and played. He's never gone to one of these card rooms and played. And especially he's never done a proper structured tournament before, like with blind levels, and the blinds increase every X amount of time, and only X amount of people get paid and all that jazz. And so he wanted to go to one of the local card rooms down the street from me. I'm not going to name which one specifically, but they host a little tournament. And so we talked about going, and we ended up going just last week. And I've taken a few different friends to these little slow stakes card room poker tournaments just for fun. And I've never seen them sit us at the same table, right? We both check in at the same time. We both get our like table assignment and chips and whatnot at the same time, but they sit us at the exact same table, which I've never seen them do before. I would imagine they, in theory, would probably want to split up friends and stuff like that. So there's less of a possibility of collusion. I know there's always the possibility, but so it reduces the possibility of collusion. But I guess it's a low stakes tourney, so they don't really care all that much. They aren't too meticulous. So they just sat us at the same table, which is pretty cool. We got to, he was sitting at the very other end of the table, but I got to give him the stink eye anytime he was in a pot, or laugh at him anytime he lost. Well, we were playing for maybe 2.5, 3 hours. I had maybe like 1.5 times the starting stack. So I was doing okay. I was slowly building. And he was at maybe 1.75 the starting stack. So he was just barely covered me. And we get into a hand. I get dealt pocket fours under the gun. So first up, and I think we're 6 or 7-handed. I think we're 7-handed at this point. I get dealt pocket fours under the gun. Now, if you look at like strategy charts and stuff, fours under the gun 7-handed at around 30 big blinds deep, which is about what I was, is probably a fold, right? You should probably only be opening like 6s plus there. 4s is maybe a little too loose, but the table had been playing pretty tight, and there was a lot of pre-flop folding. A lot of people were getting their raises through and just stealing the blinds a whole lot. So I thought it was a decent enough opportunity to go for like, I raise, people fold, and I just get to take the blinds down. I'm happy. If somebody calls, I get to play a very easy hand of poker, right? I hit a 4, I hit a set, I try and get it all in. I whiff, I basically fold. So it turns it into I'm okay with a call. I'm okay with everybody folding. So I end up deciding to raise the 4s under the gun, 7-handed, about 30 big blinds deep. And my friend Joaquin, who's in the small blind, I believe he just flat calls. And then one other guy, I think the big blind calls or something. And the flop comes 4-6-2, okay? And so I hit middle set. I've got the second nuts. Now, there are 2 clubs on the board, so there is a flush draw possibility. And so I believe I start it checks to me, or I can't remember the exact action, but I end up betting like half pot or something, or maybe smaller, trying to get like, junk hands to fold out and like maybe clubs to call or something. And then he puts in a min click raise. And, when he min click raised me, that was for maybe like half my stack, like third of my stack. So it doesn't really make sense for me to call his min click raise there. I either fold or push it all in at that point. And so I figured I've got middle set. I have the second nuts and I'm 30 big blinds deep. There's no way you can fold middle set in that spot, right? It's just not possible. I mean, every now and then you're going to wake up and the guy's going to have the sixes and you're just going to get set over set and just cry your way home, cry your way to sleep that night. But, you can't be folding middle set 30 big blinds deep on the flop, right? That just doesn't work. And so I rejam on him and he snap calls and flips over the sixes. And I was just like, bro, of all the people to lose a set over set sick cooler like that, I guess I'd rather it be against my homeboy who's playing a tournament for the first time. And so now he's got a bigger stack. It's not some rando misreg at the poker room. But it was one of the sickest bad beats I've ever had, right? Truly first nuts versus second nuts, set overs, top set, middle set, like, oh, that was nasty. And I remember I left the table and sat in the car because we carpooled together. So I sat in the car for maybe like an hour and a half until he busted. And I remember I was just like chat GPTing and on Google, like, what is the opening range, 7-handed under the gun versus a tight table, like 30 big blinds deep tournament strategy, blah, blah, blah. Like trying to like confirm if I was, if I really did make a misstep. I don't think I misstepped too bad. I mean, look, this getting set over set like that is just such a sick cooler. I don't care even if I opened fours a little too loose under the gun there. That's just such an anomaly hand. It's just, it is what it is, and you just kind of move on. But I just thought it was pretty funny. Of all the times that I take my, a friend to a poker tournament for the first time. We get sat at the table together for the first time. And then just a couple hours in, I get stacked by him of all people. It was hilarious. It was awesome. And now I need my revenge. Ugh.